We can't all be nice girls.
Free Fire is directed by Ben Wheatley and stars Sharlto Copley, Brie Larson, Armie Hammer and Cillian Murphy. Set in Boston 1978, an arms deal meeting inside of a deserted warehouse goes south very quickly, leading the two rival gangs into a long shootout and ultimately a game of survival. That is literally the basic premise of the plot. This movie is an hour-and-a-half long gunfight, and you know what? It's brilliant. I was excited to see this movie due to its unique premise of an entire feature-length film all being one gunfight. It's a unique and interesting concept that comes off as being refreshing and fun, as it is not something you usually see when you watch a movie. It's different. This unique concept really does sell this movie and give it the justification it needs to stand on its own as a movie that you'll want to go and see as soon as you can. All the cast members were fantastic. Sharlto Copley gives it his all, Brie Larson was able to hold her own as the only female member of the cast and manages to outshine most of the other cast members who are all male, which is a great thing, and Armie Hammer gives probably his best performance he has ever given. I was a big fan of his character and what he brought to the movie. Even Jack Rayner is able to give his best ever performance, which he is getting really good recently. After a dodgy start in Transformers 4, but then moving on to the brilliant Sing Street and now Free Fire, this guy is improving big time. Each character brings their own darkly comical sense of humour to the film. This movie is very funny and the characters are constantly spouting quips, jokes and insults at one another, which is extremely funny and comical. However, depending on what your sense of humour is, may determine how much you enjoy it, as some of you may find it too much or frankly obnoxious to watch non-stop for 90 minutes, as it just keeps going on and on and on with this sort of humour, so if you don't like it, you're going to be stuck with it. The film is very brutal and graphic. It is not afraid to show the nitty gritty of the wounds and battle scars the characters collect as the film progresses. You see the bullets be fired and see it impact in whatever bloody way it can, and you will see the after effects. Again, this may be a turn off for some viewers, so you may have to know that going into Free Fire. You have to know that going into this film, as you may be unprepared for it. Because of the movie's concept, Free Fire is very clever with how it handles dialogue. Plenty of times in this film you'll have the camera focusing on one or two specific characters, but then in the background you'll hear the voices of other characters echoing across the warehouse, and it is a technique which is used in such a way that is incredibly smart and can give the characters more, well, character and more development without them necessarily having to be on screen at that particular moment. I also thought the pacing of this movie was perfect. It had a very uneasy opening to lead up to the firefight, which was still funny in its execution, and the film then transitions into the fight, and the fight slowly gets more intense and risky as the fight continues on and on. I was worried about the film's pacing being too quick, but because of the dialogue trick I mentioned earlier, it works super well indeed, as the film doesn't need to focus on character as much. The music is also implemented flawlessly. Now, there is not a lot of music in this movie, however, when it does strike up, it usually fits the situation well. Whether it is trying to add some comedic value to the scene, or sometimes it will fit with the movement of the characters, which is a very interesting choice that stylistically works like a charm to add some levity to the film's action. And it's something, again, that's very unique like the film overall. It's a recurring theme throughout this. Overall, I really enjoyed Free Fire. It is unique, different, refreshing and fun, and also adds a lot of humour on top of it to mesh with the action very well. The film may be too much for some, but hopefully those people will still watch the movie and recognise its individuality and the cleverness it portrays to its audience, as this is a film we haven't really seen before, and I doubt we will see anything like it in a long time. I give Free Fire a B.